Okay, hello everyone. This is Imperial Country Ball, and today I decided on ranking some empires. So we got all these empires right here. It was the first one that popped up for the tier list, so I just decided why not. Has a lot of good empires on there, and I don't know if you just want some random guy ranking empires. Here we go. So first we'll do the opposite. So they're Afghanistan. Um, I don't really think they did a whole lot. I think they attacked the Persians once, but I think they lost. I'm gonna put them in C tier. Okay, this is like Persia. Like yes, they were the very first like major empire, but Alexander the Great just absolutely demolished their empire. He would have probably conquered a lot more land if he lived longer, but you know what? First major empire, or I guess kind of almost the first empire in general. B tier, I'm going to say. Uh, I do not know who that is. I've heard it. I'm pretty sure I know. I'm pretty sure I know. I don't really think they really did anything. The Axum. Yeah, I think I know. I don't think they really did a whole lot. Geez, some of these I just don't know. Okay, Syria. That was pretty early on. They had like a major empire in like Jordan, Syria. Very early. That didn't really do a whole lot. Austria-Hungary. Okay, so like kind of the only war they did was World War One, and they didn't really do that well on the Russian front. They kind of need help from the Germans and the Italians. They need Bulgaria to help defeat Serbia. They do have a cool flag, so I'll boost them up a little. But somewhere around here. You know what? I'm gonna put them in C tier. Now Austria, they had the Habsburgs, lasted a lot longer. They helped defeat Napoleon. I think they get a. You know what? They only had like some colonies, like those islands that India owns now. Like those were like the only colonies they had. B tier. I'm pretty sure I might have heard of you, but I don't really know for sure. The Aztecs. They had the sacrifices, and no, they didn't do well at defeating the Spanish. They did have the pretty sure they were the ones that built the Chichen Itza, so I'll give them C tier. Babylon, like I know of Babylon. I don't really know how large of an empire they had, so I'm gonna also put them in C tier. Belgium, they had the Congo, and King Leopold did some not nice things there for only a year. I'm pretty sure for the rest of the years it wasn't as close as bad. Belgium, you were the speed bump in both World War One and Two. Sorry, D tier. Brazil, you didn't like you lost a lot of wars like to Uruguay, and like I guess you won the War of the Triple Alliance. I might give you something there, but not really anything. I'm putting a lot of them in. You know what? I don't know. I'm actually gonna put in C tier, and I'm actually gonna move Austria-Hungary up one. But yeah, okay. British Empire, like come on, S tier. Like they conquered a quarter of the world. British Raj, they're not really an empire, but they did rule over a lot of people, so I'll give them that. But they're not like an empire. So Bulgaria, they did really well in World War One against Serbia. They kind of almost blitzkrieged them in a way. They didn't really do anything for the Second World War. I'm gonna put in C tier. Burmese Empire. Yeah, I heard of them before the British conquered them, so not really anything important. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go in E tier. Byzantium. Well, you started out as the Romans, so like the Eastern Rome. You lasted over 1,000 years. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give you an A tier. It just seemed mean not to. Not a whole lot of empires last over 1,000 years. Carthage, you lost like of the. Okay, yeah, you won the second war against the Romans, but the Romans defeated you everywhere else. You were kind of a rival to them. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put you in B tier. I'm pretty sure it's. I'm gonna guess it's China, but I don't know for sure. So sorry, I'm gonna have to. Denmark. I think you had the Virgin Islands, and you had like some off the coast of West Africa. Like, okay, yeah, you didn't really do a whole lot. Okay, the Durrani Empire. Okay, if I'm correct, that was in India. I don't really think you did a whole lot, but I'm gonna put you in C. Just the Dutch. They had New York. The British took that. They had South Africa. British took that as well. You got to keep the East Indies. The British kind of stole a lot from you, so I'm gonna have to give you some credit on that for at least having a lot of colonial. Ancient Egypt, they're the first very civilized civilization. Like I guess Mesopotamia too, but yeah, I'm gonna have to put Ancient Egypt. Well, they did a lot, but they didn't really do a whole lot like as an empire. So B. I have a good idea of what they are, but I don't really know enough about them. Francia. Are they referring to Charlemagne? I'm not really sure. I'll put. If they're referring to Charlemagne, it'll be higher on here, but I'm pretty sure if they did, it would have like the old Fleur de Lis flag, but I don't know, maybe. B, probably. French colonial empire. Now, during that time of France, when they had the, before the French Revolution, like they did have Louisiana. Most of that land was just swamp and useless territory at the time. Which did contain Iowa. You lost to the British. I can't really rank you that much higher than a B. Georgian Empire, yeah, they existed for a while. They got defeated by the Mongols. I don't think they really ever recovered from that. Did pretty well for Georgia, but D tier. Germans. The Germans. World War I Germany. I think they're a very... Wait, I think by French colonial empire, because I don't see the other France. I think they probably mean just in general. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put them in S tier. The Germans, though, yeah, they get an A tier. They had a really good navy, generals, military strategies, but they were kind of just outnumbered. Sorry, I don't really know enough about you. Golden Horde. Well, you're kind of the remnants of the Mongol, modern-day Russian territory. You kind of just slowly died out. I'm sorry, it's like D tier. I'm gonna have to rank these like separately here, like that. You know what? There you go. The Gupta, I've heard of them, but I don't know enough about them. Han Dynasty, okay. China, I probably wouldn't give them much higher than C. Actually, the Han, I think the Han, yeah, they did a little bit. Yeah, I'll put them there. The Hittites, Um, I don't. I know who they are. Let me actually put Yeah, okay, I spelled knowledge wrong. Okay, there we go. Holy Roman Empire, their system was, like, their system of running his empire pretty good. They had, like, the emperor and the stuff like that. So, the emperor, and they had, like, then they had, like, another rank, and then they just had all the other smaller states. Lasted over, it's like 900 years, like 962 to 1806. Have to give them some there. I'm gonna have to put right there, or next to Austria, which is also Habsburg. The Huns, they beat up the Romans, especially Western Rome. Attila the Hun, pretty well known. The end of B tier, but above Francia. Inca, like modern day Peru, Machu Picchu. They didn't. I don't think they really lasted that long, and then the Spanish came. I know that wasn't really their fault, but Spanish were way better in technology than they were. So, I'll put them. I'll put them there. Italians. So, you had Libya, which you had to fight the Senussis. You couldn't win your war against Ethiopia. You did terrible in the Second World War. I'm sorry, Italy. You're probably gonna be at the very end of B tier. Japan, though, yeah, they conquered about all of coastal China, Manchuria, French Indochina, the Dutch East Indies, Northern New Guinea, whole lot of islands. I'm gonna have to put you in A tier. Don't know enough about you. I know it's Cambodia. I'm pretty sure I know what they're talking about. But yeah, you go like... British Raj actually moves to C tier. I'll move you to C tier. Korean Empire. I know you fought Japan a lot, but then you kind of just got attacked by China. You go to C tier. Macedonia. Like, yeah. I don't even care. Technology difference, how short it lasted. Alexander the Great is probably like the greatest general of all time. I'd probably argue maybe even better than some of the greats like Napoleon. This is Indonesian. I'm pretty sure you're quite powerful, but I know enough about you to rank you, but... Okay, I do not know you. Mali Empire. I also believe they do have a flag. It's like a yellow square and then it's like red background. But very rich. I'll give them that. They last a good amount of time. Kind of one of the only major empires in that region of Africa. End of A tier. Also, I think Japanese Empire didn't last that long, but I'll also put them there. Mamluks, you defeated the Mongols, you lost to the Ottomans. Somewhere here in B tier. Maratha Empire. Maratha Empire. You ruled a lot of India. British conquered you. I can't really give you a whole lot more than like the top of C tier. Here. Maurya Empire. Another empire from India. I feel like they did a lot more. I'm actually going to put them in B tier this time. I'm going to put them there. The Mayan. I can't really put them any higher than the Aztecs. You know what? I'll actually put them at the... I haven't really used E tier a whole lot. Okay, Mexican Empire. You lasted 1821 to 1823. That wasn't really that long. You didn't really Didn't really do anything. Central America split off later, and you just kind of fell apart. Sorry. The Ming, China, and the C tier. Okay, Mongols. Yeah, I'm not going entirely off the size, but largest, like, entirely land empire. They didn't do any colonization, so. Okay, Morocco. I'm sorry, you didn't really do anything. Like, you did conquer Spain. Like, you tried to conquer Spain. Movie about Burma, but you didn't really do anything. The Mughals, though, I'm gonna have to give them a little bit more. I'm gonna do at the top of C tier. I think they were one of they weren't really a whole lot. Well, they conquered more. Like, I have to give them more than the Maratha Empire. Yeah, I'll do top of C tier. Napoleonic France. Once again, I'm gonna put him here. Napoleon, even though the empire lasted from, what was it, 1804 to 1815, and there's like a short time it wasn't in 1815. Napoleon, he was one of the greatest generals of all time. Have to give it to him there. North Sea Empire. Danish. Vikings tried to conquer Britain, raided a whole lot. Can't really give you any much more than C tier. Oman. Okay, I think Oman did colonize Zanzibar, but that's not really giving you a whole lot higher than some of the other ones on here that deserve more. Okay, the Ottomans. The Ottomans, they lasted from 1299 to 1922. That's pretty good. They kind of declined since like the 1840s. I'm gonna have to give them a top B tier. Unless I'm forgetting, I don't really know much about them. Poland, Lithuania. What was it? 1569 to 1793. They tried to conquer Moscow, and they actually almost did. They were there, and then they got kind of kicked out. So actually, I'm gonna put them somewhere. I'm gonna put them right there. And the Polish Hussars too. If they had Lithuania on here alone, I'd probably also give them really high. Same with Poland. Okay. Portugal, you had Brazil, you had a few other things. Like, okay, you had Brazil. That's going to give you a lot on here. It's very bottom of B tier. Qing. Century of Humiliation, definitely bringing it down, but pretty powerful for China, but to be honest, yeah, it's Rome. Okay. They unified like the bottom half of Europe, all the Mediterranean. They're the first ones to do that. All of Iberia, about all of France and the lowlands, Britain, except for Scotland, obviously all of Italy, the Balkans, Anatolia. So yeah. Russia, I'm actually going to put them in top of A tier. Very bottom of S tier. No, A tier. A tier. Safavid Empire, that's another Persian one. I can't really give you top. Okay, maybe move Cambodia down there. Yeah, I'm actually sorry, Cambodia. You moved down to E tier now. The Sassanids, they're rivals of the Romans. That brings them up. I'll give you like bottom B tier. I have a good idea of who they are, but I don't know for sure. Seljuks, they were like Central Asia. I can't really think of a whole lot you did. Serbia. Okay. Serbian Empire. They did conquer a lot of land in the Balkans. I know people are gonna get mad at me if I do them really high or really low. So you know what? I'll give you a top of D tier. Nothing against modern Serbia, but it didn't really, you know what, to be honest. There. I'll keep them there. Siamese empires. Okay, Thailand. Sorry, you didn't really do a whole lot. You just kind of sat there and didn't do anything. Don't know enough about you. I've heard of you, but I don't know enough about you. Spain. Come on, I kind of have to put them up there. They conquered majority of, well, they conquered about all of Latin America, except for like Brazil and the Guyanas. Don't know enough about you. Sweden, you were a rival to Russia. I honestly can't put you. Portugal should move up a little more. I think like here. Tang, China, but I don't know enough. No, not Tibet. Okay, Tibet, they're a little larger than what people refer to as Tibet today, which is a part of China, but like the subdivision, whatever it's called, in China. I'm sorry, but you didn't really. The Timurids, I know one of the sultans, probably sultan, caused a lot of casualties for a lot of people at one point. The Persian, I'm gonna have to give you okay, Ming. I think Ming should probably move up there a little more. Tuai Tonga, I don't know why I said it like that. Probably the only one from Oceania on here. I'm sorry, but you guys didn't do a whole lot, but you did some, I'll give you that. Dubai Caliphate, okay. Yeah, I kind of have to put you up there. And yes, that is your flag. Oh, I think the Abbasids, okay, the Abbasids they were not Afghanistan, they were a Caliphate. Okay. I think they're a little less powerful, so I'm going to put them right below. Okay, Vietnam, I don't think they're a whole lot. They're actually probably a little bit smaller than modern Vietnam. So I'm sorry. The Xiongnu, pretty sure that's Mongolian. We'll be up to here. The Yuan, you're kind of just a later Chinese version of the Mongols. And lastly, Ethiopia. You didn't have a whole lot of an empire, but you lasted a very long time. But I can't really give more than top of D tier. Okay, here it is. If you agree or disagree, tell me. If you enjoy this, I'd recommend that you subscribe, but you don't have to. Don't have to. Not telling you what to do. This is a democracy. So, there we go. This is Imperial Country Ball. Goodbye.